magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
What's up, everyone? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's a Transformers Slag Podcast Center live stream main event. I'm your host, Proto Man, the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday, although I was absent Friday because there was some toy hunting that had to go on. We'll get into that later today. Hope other people had good times hunting. I actually was more successful today than I was yesterday because Black Friday has kind of evolved into Black Friday weekend, and then Cyber Monday, and then Cyber Monday 2.0, and then Cyber Monday 3.0, and then Christmas sales and pre-Christmas sales, and then after Christmas sales and end of year sales. And don't pay full price for your Transformers over the next 30 to 45 days. Trust me on this. Anyways, how we all doing here in our Transformer world? Who we got in the chat today? We got Patrick Brown. We got James Hopkins. How you doing, James? Will Murphy, what's up? Horned Owl, what's happening, man? Sorry, I'm just trying to get through all this like stuff that I was working on later today. I was doing a bunch of editing for other stuff. Stay tuned for that. Mikey and Louie, how we doing? Then we got Bruticus. Want to make sure I don't miss nobody. Ashnud, haven't seen you in a bit, Ashnud. How you doing? Roman, how you doing, Roman? T-Formers 2002, what's up? Bigum, I want to make sure I don't miss nobody because everyone is slowly coming in now. I'll catch y'all on the flip side if I don't. Tom Laney and a few others. Navio. So then, we're going to talk Transformer news today. We're going to talk about some stuff that we picked up. We're going to talk about the future because there's a lot of listings that have been bouncing around here and there, and just a lot of crazy stuff going on. But I will say this because I know a lot of people have been talking about those 2-packs. So, I mean, here in Canada, I just like how last time when those 2-packs existed, we didn't get them here again. So I didn't get any of those 2-packs. There's a spoiler of what I didn't get this weekend. Was those lovely $7.50 per unit, $15 2-packs. Oh, when was the last time deluxe Transformers were $7.50? They never were. Beast Wars, 1995, they were $10. So you'd probably have to go even more back to when the deluxe price point didn't exist and you have something that's comparable and comparable. But here's what's crazy. Generation 2, deluxe car, Jazz, Inferno, Sideswipe, $12.99. Go a little more back. Okay. Action Masters, carded, non-transformable little accessory, $10. So we're still not there yet. We're still not at $7.50 yet. You have to go so far back. There'd be Pretender shells. There'd be Headmasters in 86, 87. Actually, 87, 88. Like, that's how far back you would have to go to get a Transformer about like this big, although this is a rescue bot, but this big for $7.50. That's how important that is. For in this day and age, in this world we live in, to get a deluxe Transformer for $7.50, unheard of. Maybe not this version, but the reissue. Unheard of. So I'm happy for everyone that was able to make the scores. There was some really good stuff there, especially just to talk like long form here. I mean, that Studio Series Soundwave, the Mercedes one, that one, I get a feeling in the long run, that's going to be, some coin. A few of those Studio Series ones, I feel, give it a couple years, and that $7.50 investment, if you want to call it that, is going to definitely pay off. Let's put it that way. But man, oh man, good stuff. Good stuff, that's for sure. What's up, Cringe? One of my patrons. Who else is piling in? Just want to make sure I don't miss nobody. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. We'll cover some other stuff, some news, and then we'll chill and take some super chats and just enjoy the rest of it. But speaking of studio series, let's talk about what we're probably going to be seeing this weekend. So again, reminder, this weekend coming up on December 4th, I think it's December. I just want to double check those dates because we're professionals here. Yeah, so next weekend coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend, December 4th, 5th, 6th is going to be the CCXP in Brazil, which is the Comic-Con experience. Now you're going, like, Brazil, Proto, what's going on? Like, we shouldn't even be hearing about Canada. Well, the CCPXP is actually easily the largest pop culture convention in all of South America. It's a big deal. Hasbro is actually flying out there. They're going to have a huge booth. They're going to do a big presentation, and they're going to be showing new products. That same weekend, specifically December 5th, we'll be getting new reveals from the panels. Earthspark is going to be making its finale debut. We're going to be having the RoboSen Soundwave be making it also its debut that weekend, and will go up for pre-order that same weekend. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening Friday and Saturday next week. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot. But one of those things that are definitely going to be revealed, and we already see here the numbering being teased here, is again on December 4th, Japan time, which will probably be like December 3rd, our time, more or less, will be the full reveals of our Studio Series Transformers 1 Deluxe Class Orion packs, which I'm super stoked for, and the Studio Series Devastation Bumblebee, which I'm really curious how that alt mode is going to turn out. And it looks like he has some kind of extra weapon or accessory peeking back there in the gray now that we have it in full color. So super stoked about these. Very excited about them. I hope that, again, that this opens up just to more Transformer 1 product. I don't care what it is. I just want more high-end Transformer 1 product. Like, that movie, too good. Too good. I can't stress enough. I'm a broken record on it, but too good. So looking forward to that. So again, we're probably going to see, again, December 3rd, we'll get the full reveals from Japan, and then probably the in-person product and everything will be revealed and displayed at the CCXP in Brazil by Hasbro proper at their booth and everything. So definitely, again, next week is going to be quite the drop of stuff. So mark that on your calendar and stay tuned. Fair Lady Z, one of my patrons. What's up? What's up? Yeah. So there's that one. And then, of course, then we have this dreaded thing here. So I have the retail one, opened it up, which is sacrilege because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to put our grimy hands on our products, not just leave it in the box like most Funko collectors. But, yeah, they're going to be doing a limited 7,500 units Funko Web exclusive glow-in-the-dark Rodimus. F me. F me. And I said this on my individual segment, but I'm going to say it again. I feel like the Funko guys are watching my podcast because, and I'll say why, and it sounds like I'm a conspiracy theorist, but because I know that big Funko creators, content creators on YouTube, they've commented on my videos and they're not happy about the things that I say about Funko because they're investment brokers when it comes to this hobby. They look at their Funkos as their 401k and their cash out for the future, which I do not recommend, but they obviously don't have the muscle memory of the Beanie Baby era or the Toy Biz era or the, early Todd Toys era or anything else that was 80s and 90s toy collecting that didn't do well and didn't age well. I'm sorry. If you bought, let me think of an example. If you bought a carded Thundercats Lion-O back in 1987 for $10, and then you sold it today carded in decent shape, sealed, you might get $200. Or if you took that $10 and put it into any stock that ever existed in 1987, trust me, you'll do better. So don't put your money into toys thinking you're going to get big money in the long run and retire on it. It's not going to happen. It's short-term gains at best. But I know that these Funko guys, they're not happy about it. And I know for a fact that they always try to bring attention to my videos because they know that if I talk badly about Funko, it gets around, and then other people won't invest in Funko, and then their product goes down. It's kind of like the crypto guys. If you talk badly about crypto, they get double angry because it's not just an opinion anymore, it's affecting their wallets. So I feel like the Funko guys on the creative side are almost effing with me because all the hot rods, with the exception of that I threw over here, this one here, have all been difficult to get. We had an NFT one, then we had a San Diego Comic-Con one, which I got lucky there because it was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but then it sold so poorly that it ended up in every GameStop, and then I ended up getting it. And then they did this one at retail, but now they're doing a web exclusive one, which I'm going to hope doesn't do well. And then it also ends up at GameStop in large portions because the San Diego one, if I remember correctly, was 5,000 units. So this is 7,500. So if these end up in GameStop, thank effing God. Because I am buying this online. I'll just wait. I will just wait. I will just wait. Oh, don't worry about that NFT hot rod. Don't worry about that. I took care of that one. Let's put it that way. I took care of that one on the good. Yeah, so it is what it is. But either way, the point being is we're in a situation where, we have something that we have those Funkos out, and then now we have other things where we're kind of in a situation where with those Funkos gone, and because Funko right now is kind of in a bit of a situation right now, Funko Pop. I don't even know where to start with that, but let's just hope that that company learns its lesson. I have too many things to say about it in terms of how it runs and everything. I mean, this isn't a segment that I put here, but also, Super 7, who I actually like, is going through the same financial problems. And I actually enjoy Super 7. They're actually creative and do fun stuff. But even then, they have their issues. You know what I mean? So we'll see what goes down with Funko, and we'll keep it on the down low. Fair Lady Z, what did you say? Because I know Fair Lady Z, shout out to her, is also a huge Hot Rod fan. You got yours from GameStop, as it should be, or BBTS. I mean, as long as you don't pay exuberant amounts of money. I mean, a Funko Pop at the end of the day, I mean, two molded pieces of plastic on one piece of articulation, so it means pretty much one piece of assembly, if that's not already also machine done, if not hand done. 10 to 15 bucks max, which is what they are in general. So, but it's the secondary market instantly on them that is silliness. These things should not be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, $100 out of the gate. That artificial scarcity and the artificial inflation, silly. It's silly. Not good for the hobby, in my opinion. But luckily for us as Transformer fans, there's not a lot of crossover. There's not a lot of Funko collectors that are also Transformer collectors. They do exist, but they are a minority. Go to any TFCon. Look, we've had up to this point, we have over 100 different Transformer Funko Pops. Go to any TFCon, and you'll be hard pressed to find those Funko Pops. They are completely absent from any dealer room. So that says a lot about the crossover. There's not a lot of people that care about those. Yeah, you'll see the odd big Unicron one or something, but in general, most people don't care. And rightfully so. Bruticus, what's this? Still have my Super 7 Ultimate Godzilla versus Bioente Godzilla. Hey, man, Super 7 does great stuff. Their prices are the problem, and their management is a bit of the problem. And I'm not throwing shade directly at management, but bro, get the hell out of San Diego. Get the hell out of San Francisco. What are you doing in California? You are killing yourself there. Move your operation to a state that's better with taxes and better for toy production. When all the other big companies are not there, while on, what was the other big company that was in a big city that almost went bankrupt? Marvel. And then Marvel had to get bought out. And where were they located? Right in New York City. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be a big company, put yourself in a small city and crush it. Crush it. And heck, you could then employ that entire city and do well for everybody. Go to like Fort Wayne, Indiana or something and crush it. But anyways, regardless of the fact, that's what's happening with the Funko Pops. So that one's going to be available on December 12th, I believe, on their website, and it'll be 7,500 units. I don't know the price. Knowing Funko, probably an artificial scarcity, probably $30 for this because of, oh, hey, glow in the dark paint. Sure. Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's talk about some lost media that now has been put out to the public due to the combined efforts of Alex Milne and Scribe himself, Simon Furman. They took the script that was provided by Simon and the line art that never got truly finalized in some cases by Alex Milne, and we have now the 2 lost issues, although there is 6 in total, but here's 2 of them. 31 and 32 of Transformers Energon that never came out. Issue 31 was finalized in terms of pencils, inks, colors by Josh Perez, and I think it was Hung. I think Hung did also, and I forget who the last one was. Raymond, I think, was the last colorist on it. It was a combination of 3 people who did the coloring. But issue 31, and with the scripts added by Simon Furman, so you actually have the dialogue put in there. And then issue number 32 was never colored. It's just inks and pencils by Alex Milne. And then you have the script and lettering put in by Simon Furman. And so we have 2 relatively complete issues of what would have been the story for this. So these are the QR codes on the screen right now. These, by the way, these QR codes were provided by Simon Furman, so I want to believe these are safe to scan. I don't think Simon is trying to screw anyone over. But yeah, so these are available to read right now, and they're quite fantastic. If Josh Perez is listening, and I know he's a regular listener of the podcast, I don't know, maybe one day when you have the free time, go back and recolor in issue 32, and it would have been you who would have colored it anyways. So very, very cool. And then maybe one day in the future, those scripts for 33, 34, 35, and 36 will be drawn at some point. Maybe some hardcore Transformer fan will step up to the plate and make it happen. We will see. We will see. But we do know that those last few issues of Energon were written, just never put together. Never gonna happen. And Patley is not paying anybody for this, but at least it's nice to see some people's work put out there, and it wasn't completely wasted, even if they didn't get paid for it. Unfortunately, that's just kind of what was going on with Dreamwave at the time. I'll say this once and I'll say it again. This isn't my quote. It's someone who worked for Pat. I've only met Pat Lee twice. Always was a nice guy to me, but I will say this quote. Pat Lee is a very great dude. He'll give the shirt off his back to you, but never lend him $5. I won't say who quoted that and who said that, but that's kind of been his, general assumption of how he is with money. So we will see what happens with the future issues, but cool to have these to read right now. Good stories, too. Again, I loved what Dreamwave did. I love Dreamwave stuff. I don't love what Dreamwave did with money and buying Porsches and disappearing to China. It's a whole other conversation. But I love what Dreamwave was doing in terms of the Transformer brand. There was a lot of good stuff going on there. So I hope to see a lot more of that in the future, of those old scripts from Simon and stuff. Maybe even the old G1 scripts, because there was a few of those that were kicking around. War Within, too. There was the Age of Wrath and all that stuff. So yeah, hopefully we'll see more of that in the future. Good stuff. Good stuff. I miss Dreamwave. Let's talk about some listings now. We'll start with the Swapticons. Good old Swapticons. I love these guys. Sealed Swapticon set that I've still yet to open for $20, but Canadian, so that's about $15 American. This was when Walmart was going on crazy clearance with them. But yeah, man. They're doing a lot of Beast Wars love with Swapticons, and a whole bunch of like Scorponok and the Croc Megatron and Ape Blinks, and now we're getting even more Beast Wars love with Swapticons. So we have the Black Arachnia and the Tarantulas 2-pack. We got the Lazorbeak, which talk about a deep cut with that one. Beautiful Lazorbeak. And the Pterosaur 2-pack. We got some others here that we haven't seen yet, but we do have the listings courtesy of JT Prime 17. I'm just putting some visuals there on the bottom right to kind of convey it of what potentially they'll look like. Another Scorponok, 3 Scorponoks now, and a double punch. So obviously using that Scorpion mold and giving it the double Scorpion love there. We got the Rhinox and Backstop, obviously a Rhino going on there, and Backstop from Cybertron getting some love. So that's cool to see that kicking around again. And then Ironhide and Ratchet, pretty obvious with, we're going to get some kind of van combiner thing going on with a little bit of the ambulance flavor with neutral van flavor, if you want to call it that. But very, very cool. Very, very cool. I dig it a lot. Probably going to pick up definitely the Black Arachnia and the Tarantulas one. And just to get Laserbeak again. A Laserbeak anything 30 years later. Yes, it's almost been 30 years. Laserbeak was 1997. So next year, in a couple of years from now, it'll be 30th anniversary. But man, almost 30 years since the last Laserbeak. So to get a new one of him, that's pretty hype. Very, very cool. I dig that stuff. And again, another Scorponok, another Rhinox. Those two will definitely probably, especially if it's double punch. If it's like Action Master Elite double punch, I might pick that up. I like the deep cuts. This is clearly, the package art is Marcelo, who's always awesome. But in terms of the ideas, this is clearly a group of people at Hasbro East Coast that are just absolutely loving and just having a good time and picking some fun stuff to do. Very, very cool. Then we got more listings. Let's talk about these. This is the Walmart capsule exclusive of the Transformers Age of the Primes Energon subseries. Now, this isn't Energon as in Superlink Unicron Trilogy Energon. This is something that's more of a Energon powered line. What I imagine, and this is just a small take, and it's a strong possibility this will happen. I know that when it comes to these retailers wanting exclusives, I always see a common trend, especially with Walmart recently, is they always want to have, and I'm going to pull him up again, they always want to have, okay, give us a few unique repaints, new color schemes, and then give us one new tooling. In the case was this guy here. And that one new tooling will be exclusive to us initially. So that way people get excited and the FOMO and everything and they go buy it. And then later on, Hasbro will then be able to use that tooling as much as they want. Which anyone who bought the $7.50 Cosmos just this past weekend, good on you. Because I hope they didn't pay $100 for Cosmos like a lot of other people did. Oh my goodness. So, but it's something where I get a feeling I could totally be wrong, and I'll accept being wrong. I think the Dark Energon Megatron is going to be a brand new modern tooling of Transformers Prime Megatron, done in a very similar kind of clear color scheme. That way, the tooling now exists to then do a vanilla version later. That's what I think is going to happen. And it's always the smart thing to do. Do the lesser color scheme first. People will buy it because it's new. Oh my God, it's a new one. And then they'll buy it again later on because then it'll be the better colors or the proper colors. I've seen that way too many times in Transformers history, and I don't think that's ever going to change, in all honesty. What's going to be the Prime? I don't know. Maybe it'll be Transformers Prime Optimus. Maybe it'll just be a redeco of something. And the only reason why I really feel it also is probably going to be like a Transformers Prime Megatron is because the SKU numbers on these suggest a Voyager price point. The guys on the bottom, this Energon Cybertronic and the Energon Cybertread, those are deluxes. The SKUs above are Voyagers. So, or leaders. But they're definitely not in that deluxe SKU. So I'm going, what's going on here? So we will see, but I am quite interested to see what they'll do here. But there's going to be a new mold somewhere. There's going to be some kind of new tooling. I don't know what it is, but there'll be something there. So very curious to see what they do. Very, very curious to see what they do. But yeah, let me know what you think. But Cybertronic, that one, I was like, man, are they trying to just like take away, Cybertronian Spree's thunder? Are they trying to like, oh, hey, Cybertronian Spree, you've been making a lot of money off of off of our IP, singing music and touring. I think we need to register that trademark so that way they can't use it. I hope that's not the reason because I like Cybertronic Spree and their crew and stuff. We will see. We will see what happens with that. Good crew dudes, especially Rumble. Shout out to Rumble. I know him personally. Then we got another listing here. We have this one also comes from JT Prime 17. Just saying, hey, Generation Selects Monstructor is coming. It will be a box set, and that is all we know. Evan again has confirmed that it won't be dinos, which I mean that's pretty much a given. It's been known that they're going to be doing some kind of extensive retooling of the core class stuff and do something. How it's going to look? Here's a custom that might give you a little bit of an idea of how it's going to look, but we don't know yet. But we do know it's coming at some point. So we will see. We will see. Oh, did I mean what? Well, no, it was Rumble. Purple. Purple. Rumble is purple. Dark purple. No blue. Dark purple. He's the drummer of the crew. And for many years was someone on G4 Tech TV. I don't want to spoil who. A local Torontonian. But a cool crew of guys. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. But yeah. So again, Monstructor, we already got the Dino King set. We already got the original Grimlock set with the Dino crew. Maybe we'll get G2 colors at some point, but I think that they have done their run, so to speak, on this tooling. And again, core class doesn't exist as a price point, unfortunately. So outside of doing pack-ins and box sets, this is the only way that we'll get these tools. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And last but not least, let's talk about, we had all this stuff going on with Black Friday, but another big thing that was happening in retail is a slew of repaints that were popping off at GameStop and EB Games here in Canada. And we're seeing full cases of reissues of Siege Prowl. We're seeing full case reissues of the Earthrise Voyager class Thrust, the Deluxe class Sunstreaker, the Legacy Evolution Beachcomber, which I heavily suggest people pick that up. That's a really good mold, especially with little Poly going on there. And then the Alpha Strike G2 Sideswipe box set is also seeing full case, although in the full case it's 2 per case, but full case reissue of them also. So go check out your local GameStop if any of these interest you. Which one was your sighting, Cringe? Which one was you? I got these through various sources and stuff, and I don't know where the images came from. Which one did you take the picture of? We got to give you a shout out to Cringe McCringle. Rumble is green. I don't know. There's never been a green color wave of him. No green Rumble. You got a Trailbreaker at GameStop today. Well, that might have been dead stock. But then again, I think that one was also getting reissued, if I remember correctly. I think Trailbreaker, it was Trailbreaker, Sunstreaker, and Thrust that were getting reissued. Sunstreaker was the one you found. Okay. So Cringe McCringle in the chat was the one that found the Sunstreaker. So again, these guys are all out there. Go hunt them down. If you missed out on something, their secondary market prices were getting pretty stupid at one point. I mean, really, like Trailbreaker and Thrust were like in that $200 price point at one point. People were just buying up that thing. So very, very cool. I mean, in my opinion, like get that Beachcomber. That's a really cool one. That's a big tough item. For some reason he was that wave just didn't have a good distribution. So if you see Beachcomber, pick him up. Now he's got the reissue, solid case, beautiful stuff, and it comes with Poly. Very, very cool. So check these out and happy hunting for some cheap robots in disguise. And that's it more or less for the news. We do have to talk about, of course, Black Friday, what we found, what we picked up, especially people in the chat too. I'm sure they picked up some good stuff. And on top of it all, what to come in the next couple of weeks. T-Formers 2002. I found a G.I. Joe cup of all things at Walmart yesterday. Is that starting to show up now? I have yet to see a single one of those G.I. Joe collabs in like standard big box retail. Like I never saw them at Toys R Us and I never saw them at Walmart here in Canada. I did see them at like GameStop and EB Games, but those are a little more collector specialized. So I almost don't even count those. But I've yet to see one at a Walmart. I would have bought the Megatron if it was cheap. You know, I heard from Jaws D because Jaws D picked it up and he said it wasn't that good. But I'd still pick it up if it was like $15. You know, I would have picked it up for that. But you know, it is what it is. Victory, what's up, Yo Proto? Did you see an article about Hasbro looking for a new head to lead the HasLabs? Well, gee, I wonder. Let's talk about that for a moment. Thank you for reminding me, Victory. So the Tron HasLab, no surprise, crashed and burned and didn't do well. And let that be a lesson that don't do that. Don't try to test the waters if you could completely charge a insane amount, especially the transparency of cost. Like, you know what? Give me one moment. Give me one moment. I'll be right back. And I'm back. This is the proof. You know, I love Tron. Okay, I bought all of the Tron Legacy figures, the original ones, which they had an LED light in their chest. Extra cost. That's two. What was it? Two double A's. Actually, we'll open it up live right now. Hold on. What do we got in here? What do we got in here? I think it was probably the smaller pill not two double A's, but the two pill batteries. Let's see what was in here. Oh, I didn't get them enough. Got to screw them from the back, giggity. Where are you going? I'm going to get toys. No, Butters is actually right here. He's chilling right behind me. I don't know if you could see him in the reflection. He's right there. There's Butters. Butters. He's chilling. Let him sleep. But yeah. So yeah, it's two pills. It's two small pill ones, like the little pills that you get for watches and stuff. British phrase means stupid. I don't know. I missed a conversation here. But so it's something where I love Tron, and I loved the 3-inch line that Spin Master made. Super high articulated, like it's like a Joe figure. They were fantastic, but they also had an LED light in the chest, which is an extra cost too. And then here's Hasbro making, and these came with more accessories. That's a whole other conversation. They came with their data disc and everything. They were doing 3-inch, no LED lights, one accessory, and then it was only 5 of them. So just these basic 3-inch, 3 and 3/4 figure, no LED lights, no light up gimmick, one accessory, 2 vehicles, and the vehicles, if you talk about breaking down plastic, this Authentics Elita 1, there's a lot of Butters hair. This Authentics Elita 1 has more plastic in it than the Light Cycles did. This Authentics Elita 1 has probably more deco hits than that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 pieces of plastic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 deco hits at about 50 cents a hit if you really want to nickel and dime it for the toy industry. Okay? This Elita 1 from Authentics was more expensive to produce than the Light Cycles. The Light Cycles had 4 pieces of plastic. This has 8. It had 1 deco hit. Now they argued, oh, well, it's only 4 pieces of plastic because the front wheel can't turn because it needs to be the handles for the figures to carry. Yeah, sure, okay. That's fine. But you don't charge $260 for that. That stand that they had that you could buy from Temu for $15. It was blatant, transparent. Let's see if we could get people to pay this. And if they do, we know what we could charge in the future. I don't appreciate that. I really don't. And there's people in this fandom that work with the toy industry, that know how toys are made. And a guy like me, look, I'm going to call it as it is. The Transformer Slag podcast is called the Slag podcast because I'm going to talk about it. We're going to shoot the shit, so to speak. Shoot the slag. And man, that was not the cost. And don't tell me licensing. Don't tell me that. Tron is under the Disney umbrella. Hasbro and Disney have been working together and making product for, God, goes back like to when they were doing like Disney Star Wars collaboration items together in like 2003, before even Disney and Star Wars were really things together. Like it goes so far back, so far back. Heck, even before, I'm trying to think, like there were some Disney Princess products that were done through Hasbro before Mattel really had it, and then it came back to Hasbro. The point is that their relationship goes far back. So it can't be like, oh, it's going to cost X amount of money because we need to use this person's face or this person's face. Get out of here. It's not true. Didn't make any sense. Didn't make any sense. Everything, those 3-inch figures, if you nickel and dimed it, at most, I would say 15, but let's say 20. Let's say 20. Let's say this is actually $20, which it shouldn't have been, especially when these ones were $7. But let's not talk about Spin Master. It's something where if they were $20 a piece, that still gets you up to $100 for 5 figures. Math. Where's the extra $160 going from? What did I just say about this here? Those 2 light cycles, at most $20 a piece. Let's say $30 a piece. Let's say $40 a piece. So now you're at $180 for 2 light cycles. Where's the extra money? Where's the extra $80? I'm still missing $80. You're telling me that stand was $80? That LED stand? Get out of here. No stretch goals, no promise of you getting anything more, because sometimes you could say, oh, well, there's stretch goals and that's baked into the cost. No, nothing. It crashed and burned. Anyone who had half a brain that understands how the toy industry works rejected it, and that was that. And I love Tron. I in all honesty, all of those things that they were showing, well, mostly the figures, I would have bought them if they were retail products. I don't want to have to get up again, but I have so much different Tron stuff in the other room because I love the brand. I grew up on, Tron. Like I worked at a video store back in the day as a kid, and the Tron VHS and the clamshell with the white border, I'd always see it. And I was like, hey, this guy's wearing like a Wayne Gretzky hockey helmet. What's the story with that? Oh, he goes into a computer. Oh, this is cool. And, I didn't have any toys of Tron growing up because those toys I think they were done by Tomy actually back in the day. They just weren't readily available. And then when Tron Legacy came out and all those figures kind of hit clearance instantly, I picked everything up, the die cast, the giant recognizer, collector box, bought all of it. Love it. They're so cool. They're so cool. If you actually go on my Instagram, plug my Instagram, I posted all of these guys many years ago. Years and years ago, I posted them on my Instagram because I love them so much. But I was very disappointed by how they handled that. And this goes to what I was saying before about all the other HasLabs. Maybe not Unicron, because Unicron was when still HasLab was doing what their mission statement was. But, HasLabs today, it's just, I hate to say it, but even something like Lio Kaiser, that could be a retail product. I don't care. Yeah, it's obscure. I get it. The trademarks, Hellbat. Okay, yeah, I get that part. But it could still be done. There's nothing that's saying it can't be done. You know, yes, you could say it's an obscure character, but we get obscure characters all the time. You're trying to tell me that there's just as many people that know who Alchemist Prime is as Hellbat? Really? Like, and I'm talking like the greater ecosystem of toy collectors. I'm not talking hardcore Transformer fans that know who Alchemist Prime is. Like, they could have done Hellbat, they could have done Drillhorn and all those guys and made them retail product and put them all together in Death Cobra. It could have happened. But instead, we could do it as a hassle. And then we could charge a little more. And then we could get a good Q4 for our investors and all of that stuff. That's just how it is. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And I'm not throwing shade. It's just all the HasLabs in general recently have started to go away from what the mission, these dream ideas. I look at HasLab Unicron and I just go, yeah, that's a HasLab. Anyone who owns a HasLab Unicron, and I'm not even talking about owning the Unicron, I'm just saying the box that it showed up in. No retailer would agree to that. That makes sense. The Jabba barge, that makes sense. But I think it started on the Star Wars side. I really do. I think that on the Star Wars side, they started looking at like, oh, we could do smaller stuff, and the Star Wars guys are paying a lot. And then they went, maybe. Mark Morales with the $5 super chat. That Star Wars lightsaber Hasbro was also a huge failure, but that tied to a character from a poorly received Disney Plus show. Well, I don't think you do a HasLab item that's based on something that's new. It's the same thing like to go away from Star Wars, but more the other one that failed, the Ghost Rider, which is, it's kind of funny actually. That's one of the things that I picked up this weekend. We'll get into that in a moment. There's a connection there. But Ghost Rider, it's like you're going to do a HasLab of Ghost Rider and you're going to do it based on one that most people don't know because it's the new fresh one. Dude, that should have been a retail product. You know, HasLab is nostalgia bucks. It's targeting the hardcore and the people that have a connection to it. If you do something that's too new, again, I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, the Razor Crest worked because Mandalorian was huge and everyone was Grogu crazy when he was still Baby Yoda. I could see that kind of working. But that was also when HasLab started going, oh, we could do smaller. We could do smaller stuff. We could get away with this. And, you know, we lost, we lost so much. We lost so much because I feel that there was a lot of big, crazy ideas that HasLab could have been for Transformers. And we don't live in that world anymore. We don't. And again, maybe it's just me going like number one, again, Primus Cybertron is the slam dunk. That's the obvious one. But I mean, even if you want to go into the deep cuts, if we could get, Lio Kaiser, if we could get Deathsaurus and that, give me a Titan scale or smaller Majin Zarek from Beast Wars 2nd. Give me something that, again, retail could not deal with, but we could. Robbie Reyes, thank you, Victory. I didn't even care. Here, spoiler. One of the things, I went to a comic store. One of the comics I picked up this weekend, the Daniel one. We'll get into that afterwards. But yeah, like, why didn't they go with and obviously a motorcycle be too small. You could just do it for retail anyways. They wanted something bigger to justify it being a HasLab. There's a lot of different things that need to be considered and discussed before something becomes stamped as a HasLab. It doesn't just have to be big. There has to be a few other layers that make sense for success. And look, we're reaching a point now where we're having just as many HasLabs that have succeeded as just as many of HasLabs that have failed. And we're reaching a 50-50 now. And if you're at a 50-50 success rate, that's scary when you're a company. You're tooling, you're advertising, you're paying people to put this all together for it not to happen. Man, oh man, you don't want to live in that world. You do not want to live and work in that world. So it is what it is. But let that be a lesson, whoever's listening. And we know we have Hasbro people that listen. They're sitting in the chat right now. I could actually see two of them. So in the user list. But let me just double check to see if it's just those two. Just two for now. They know who they are. But it's a lesson to learn. Don't do that stuff. You know, don't do that stuff. Now, granted, we got lucky with Transformers. Everything has been successfully backed. There's a hardcore audience behind it. But don't let this be an opportunity to take advantage of us, because one day, something will fail. And the difference between a Tron figure that's 1, 2, 3, a couple pieces here and everything like that, an LED stand and simply a Transformer figure failing with all that time and energy and tooling and engineering and everything, thousands of pieces, hundreds of deco hits. You can't afford to fail a HasLab Transformer item. That's a loss that you will feel for years. So we will see. We will see. But man, oh man. Man, oh man. Let's get into sponsors. We'll talk about that, and then we'll continue this discussion. We'll talk about what I got this weekend, because I already kind of gave a little bit of a teaser. So let's talk about Symbiote Studios. We have a Black Friday sale. A whole bunch of stuff is on sale on their website, specifically on the Transformer side of things. The two Transformer pillows on the bottom left there, the Autobot Decepticon pillow, those are on sale right now on Black Friday, which is still continuing into Cyber Monday and stuff. So you could go on the website right now and pick it up. And all the others are also available. Go check out symbiotestudios.com. Of course, we have the rest of them coming. TFCon March in LA 2026. You'll get your swoop. That'll be available. All the other My Little Pony stuff is available right now on the website, including their new pin set and the Winter Fun set. Clopping. And their Magic the Gathering pins, which look cool as hell, but I'm a Magic the Gathering guy, so I think those are awesome. We got to do a Jace the Mind Sculptor one. And an Urza. Ooh, an Urza pin. That'd be really cool. But yeah, check those out. And symbiotestudios.com. Black Friday sale. Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We'll get to our new segment very soon. Stay tuned for that. And Aaron has a whole bunch of Posca paintings up right now on his website, archermonster.com/shop. Go pick up a one-of-one piece of Transformer history on the original instruction sheet more than 20 years ago from the man who designed them. And thank you, Mick, for subscribing. Thank you for joining. I just missed it. The old jazz. But yeah, so check that out. archermonster.com/shop. And I'm working on a Mega Man comic. That'll be available January 2026. We'll keep you posted on that one and updates with that as it comes with the ongoing series of Mega Man. Check that out. So then, what did we get? So no luck with Transformers at all. Went to 3 different Walmarts, didn't find anything. There was no sign of those 2 packs even being available in Canada. There was no displays, no big things. Even if someone bought them all up, they would have been a big empty area. No good sales. The only sale that they had on Black Friday was Cyber World Grimlock. I think was like 50% off or something. There really wasn't any good sale. Oh, and the retro carded Brawn and Sea Spray, I think, are like $10 off, which isn't that great considering deluxes are $37.99 in Canada. So plus Quebec taxes, over $40. So not good deals really for Transformers, but did find other cool stuff here and there. Last week I showed you guys these cool model kits that I got from the Asian supermarket. So I kind of just built just the exoskeleton and put the helmet on for the red dude that I bought. But I went back and bought the others because I'm like, after I built this one, just the exoskeleton, I was like, man, these are really good. And these are like, no joke. They're like $2 USD for like full model kits. I went back and bought the others, but then I looked carefully at the purple one. That thing is Tarn and it has a Decepticon emblem on the chest. So this guy is going to be interesting to build later. This Tarn looking effer. So he looks cool. But yeah, again, you build an exoskeleton, then you put the armor on it. Very cool. $2 USD for a full model kit. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Love it. Really good quality too. Was very impressed by it. So I picked that up. That wasn't a Black Friday sale. That was just me tracking down the others because they were pretty cool. So, but then I got, and this is what the red one looks like, by the way, with the armor, just showing the box there. Very cool stuff. Again, they're model kits. They come on runners. You build them. Very cool. And then I got a email from one of the stores that I frequent off the island of Montreal. I go there maybe twice a year, and when I'm in the area for whatever reason, if I'm traveling out there, and it's a place called Unknown Collectibles. It's a small little shop. It's been around for 40 years, no joke. And I love going there because it's one of the last few traditional comic book stores that still exist. Like you go in there and you clearly see this place has been a sports card and comic book store for like a long time. It's a very old store. What's up, Aaron? And so they were doing a Black Friday sale, and it's like 40 to 50% off almost everything in the store. And I'm just like, okay, I'm coming, giggity. So I went down there and bought a few things. Shout out to them. Amazing store, Unknown Collectibles in Laval off the island of Montreal. So first I bought a playmat. This was originally $40, so now it was 20. So I was going to buy myself a nice Mega Man, Proto Man playmat there. $20, I'll do that. 40, I don't know, but I'll definitely do 20. Very, very cool. Bought a stack of books. All the books were 40% off. So I got a whole bunch, again, at 40%. Look, $4 Canadian for Vintage Bucky O'Hare by Michael Golden. Michael Golden's a freaking legend. And Larry Hama had a lot to do with these books too because he wrote the scripts. And so for $4 Canadian, then 40% off that, I mean, $1.80 for minty vintage Bucky O'Hare books. Sounds good to me. And anyone who knows Batman knows this book right here. So this was originally $12 Canadian, 40% off when you do the exchange. I would have to say about a $5 USD book I got this for. Good price on that. I think I already have it, but I'm going to buy it again at that price. I've been trying to collect all the Marvel 30th anniversary covers that have this. For Transformer fans, Menasor would have been in the center here for the Transformer cover. So I've been slowly collecting all of those. That's just the Hulk one. This was the one that I showed you guys. So again, the expensive book, $40, but $40 Canadian. So $40 Canadian, 40% off. With exchange, it would be about, I'd have to say, like almost going on a $20 USD book, but this is a minty copy of the first appearance of Danny Rider, as we'll call him. So love that one. And then fun fact, Simon Furman would go on to be a writer on that book too. That's a good one. I love me a Silver Sable book, so another Spider-Man Silver Sable book I didn't have. This one isn't a Todd McFarlane one, but it's still a good one because Todd did a lot of good Silver Sable issues. One Wolverine book I'm missing. I try to get every 90s Wolverine book I can. I was missing number 55. Got that. And then a bunch of Bionicle Lego insert books from DC at $4 a piece Canadian. $4 a piece Canadian, 40% off. Probably about $2 a piece when it's all said and done with taxes. Good stuff. Fantastic stuff. Was very happy with that. Then, what I love about his store, this is unique only to him. Montreal has hundreds of card stores. Montreal has hundreds of comic stores. Maybe not hundreds of comic stores. I'd have to say about 3 dozen comic stores are still left. But and I'm talking even in the surrounding area around the island. The New Jersey of Montreal, if you will, the Lavals, the Longueuils, pick up your Transformer packaging. And learn your Quebec geography history because that's where your packaging comes from. It comes from Longueuil near Montreal. That'll be your geography lesson for the day. But yeah, it's more Larry Hama goodness. You're right, eh? Hey, Fair Lady Z. It's true. That is a Larry Hama book because that's issue 55. That's when he was on the run. Um, but man, like that, you do not find today card stores that hold old non-sports card stuff, old Marvel and DC trading cards, old, the Tick, Savage Dragon, Wildcat cards, like old, like because no one cares about that stuff. So it's who's holding that stuff anymore. But I love non-sports card stuff. It's part of my childhood. I have a nostalgia for it, and this store has tons of this stuff, tons of it, and very well priced. Picked up, I just dropped around a in pretty decent shape chase card Reptile from Mortal Kombat. Love Reptile. Already have this card, but for $1 Canadian plus 50% off. So I got it for 50 cents Canadian for the chase card Reptile from Classic Cards back in the day. I'll sit on it. I don't care. But here was the big purchase. And if you know, you know. If you know, you know. 1992's Marvel masterpiece by Joe Jusko, the chase card Battle Spectras, the full set of them. I'll be honest with you, I think the plastics that they come in are worth more than what I paid for the cards. The full set was $30 Canadian, 50% off, so 15 Canadian, with exchange for USD, $11 American. Just this Wolverine on eBay goes for like $40. So this was a fantastic purchase. I think that just the little hard plastics, these little snap plastics, are probably more than the actual cards themselves. So getting this set. Now, granted, I had 2 of the 4 for years. I was missing the others. So now I'm going to take time later. Oop, just dropped it. I'm going to damage it. Okay, it's near mint now. I'm going to take the time to pick what are the best condition ones out of the ones I already own and these ones. But yeah, love them. Love them. So if you know, old Marvel Masterpiece back in the day, that was a really good score of that. Really, really good score. Where are we at here? Mikey and Louie. If you don't know, you don't know. You're going to know. Yeah, well, then I'm going to tell you, of course. Marvel Masterpiece was the first time we really had original art put on trading cards that were like on a whole other level. There had been original art on trading cards with Impel Marvel and, of course, Jim Lee's X-Men stuff that he was doing with the X-Men trading cards. But Joe Jusko with his painting and stuff was just a whole other level. And amazing. Amazing stuff. Bruticus, just press play Mega Store. Got a bunch of OG vintage packs. Love seeing them. Yeah, man. They are amazing. Ashnud, 2 full sets of the DC cards. Are you talking the DC showcase ones with the gray borders? I collect all of these, by the way. I love them. And the thing is, it's not an expensive hobby because no one cares about 90s trading cards because, let's be real, they were printed into oblivion and they're plentiful. There's tons of these out there. Obviously, the chase cards might be a little more because if you buy a booster box, you're going to get like 2 full sets easily. But the chase cards might be a little tougher to get. But even then, like, you would think like some of these, I mean, these are easily over 30 years old now, and they're not that expensive for even something that's 30 years old. But yeah, great stuff. Was very, very happy to pick those up. Those were like kind of the score of the day for me in a lot of ways. And that was it, really. Like, we went around, me and the wifey, we went around to a whole bunch of different freaking stores. We have like our version of Ross and Ollie's. It's called Winners. I think it's like Marshalls in the States. I think you guys have Marshalls. So we went to like a whole bunch of those. They didn't have anything. They're kind of in full Christmas mode right now. So because they're in full Christmas mode, it's a lot of new product, not a lot of liquidation product. So there wasn't any deals there to be had. Although, like, again, I got this from Winners on the cheap, so some of that stuff is still out there. That was $3, but Canadian, so that's like $2 USD. But man, like there was just not much out there, unfortunately. Black Friday was a bit of a wash for a Canadian. Let's put it that way. Even video game stuff too. Like there wasn't much. Like the video game section, there wasn't any good deals. Like I was surprised GameStop didn't really do crazy stuff. Ashton, yeah, it was the gray silver ones. That's the ones. Those are cool. There's a lot of rookie cards in that set. Not that I'm saying they're worth money. You have Nightwing's rookie card, Maxima's rookie card is in that. There's a few good ones in there, and the holograms are awesome. The hologram Lobo that's worth money. You know, there's some good stuff in there. I think the Lobo is a rookie card too. That one I'm not sure, but I know Lobo is also. It's one of his first cards. Tom Laney, the cards where the two brothers painted are nice as well. So you're talking about Marvel Masterpiece Series 2. Marvel Masterpiece Series 2, it was two brothers that did all of those cards, and those are also fantastic. Absolutely. I love, like, Marvel trading cards, especially during the 90s, were just incredible. And you get them cheap. Any interest in Garbage Pail Kid cards? Yes, I do. In fact, let me show you some Transformer Garbage Pail Kid cards. I think it's in this one. And you can tell I love my trading cards. Oh, here we go. You guys will dig these. Let me pull these out. Giggity. So they did a kind of Garbage Pail Kid cards for Transformers. These were made recently. Do I have them? Okay, here we go. So they're called Trash Formers. So you have the Crom, Unicron there. And same thing too. They have you could do a puzzle on the back. You got, if you're a Canadian, this is a very popular brand of soda, but you have RC Cola. She's in a, come on, let's get some focus on that. It's the foil is making it difficult, but RC Cola. And then you got, I guess, the Hot Rod. Look at him. Looking good. And then anyone who knows Garbage Pail Kids, they would always do like one card and then they do an alternate name for the other card. So then you got here Heartthrob Rob. You can take a guess why I bought those ones. So that's you guys have RC Cola? Okay, just making sure. Cuz you know why I say that? Cuz Goober's obsessed with RC Cola. And I think he told me a while back, like, oh, I think it's a Canadian thing or a Winnipeg thing. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. I'm not a big soda guy, so excuse my ignorance. But that's just part of my my whole like book of hot rod trading cards and stuff. So I have a few Garbage Pail Kid cards, but only ones that are like ones because I bought a bunch and sold a bunch throughout the years. And I think they're upstairs. I have like Wacky Packs. You guys know that one? One moment. Put that back. So, but I'm a big trading card guy, mostly because it's a cheap hobby now. It's a hobby that's very easy to get into now because no one cares about it and there's so much of it out there. Go on Facebook Marketplace, type 90s trading cards and just people just like getting rid of it. So it's cool to like again with Unknown Collectibles to go to his store and still see that stuff there and still be able to pick through it and find singles, like, oh, I'm missing these, these copies of stuff. So very, very cool. Very, very cool. What about Tab? I don't think I've ever had Tab ever. I don't think I've ever seen Tab. Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. Me, when I go to Costco, you don't really have a choice when it comes to drinks. You either get bottled water, but if you want to drink with any flavor of it, it's going to be soda or it's going to be iced tea, and iced tea or sweet tea as it's called in some places in the States. Iced tea is full of sugar, so the lowest common denominator, and this comes from working at Burger King back in the day, Fanta, aka Orange Crush, has the least sugar in it. So if you want to drink a soda but have the least amount of sugar, still tons of sugar, but the least, it's going to be Orange Crush. So that's kind of my go-to. Me, it's always it's cream soda, orange crush, sometimes root beer, and then everything else is motor oil to me. So everything else is made to clean the floors, not to put in your body. Maybe now I should start collecting Pog, says Lizard Sphere X. Lizard Sphere X, I have a huge Pog collection too. I love Pog. Um, Again, cheap 90s stuff. I love cheap 90s stuff. And the beauty with the 90s is everything was made into oblivion. So if you want to revisit the 90s, there's a lot of stuff that no one cares about that you could get cheap, you know? There's a lot of cheap stuff. There's a lot of cheap stuff. I want to give a shout out to Michael Koo and and the crew because they know my love for the sodas, how much I'm not a big fan of the sodas. Yeah. You still have some Disney pods. I know that, like, man, I probably should have brought down my one day. One day we'll do a sit down with my Pog book because my Pog one is all like a mixture of everything, all kinds of wacky stuff. It's robot stuff. It's X-Men. It's sports. It's Spawn. It's like when you look at Pogs, you truly get an encapsulation of what was the '90s and what was popular at the time. There's Power Ranger ones in there, you know. Very, very cool. Lizards for X. Maybe I can complete that full Botsmaster combiner that I only had the legs of. You're talking about Jungle Fiver, which I have. I love me my Botsmasters. You could probably get him fairly cheap. The box set for him goes for decent money because the box set for Jungle Fiver was a Toys R Us exclusive. So the Botsmaster toy line was was a KB Toys exclusive toy line, but for whatever reason, because it just wasn't doing well, unfortunately, Toy Biz agreed to make a box set of Jungle Fiver for Toys R Us. So, and that became because it was came at the end of the line. No one really cared. That's a little tougher to get, but you could buy the individual limbs too. And those because those went on clearance at KB Toys, and KB Toys when they did clearance, they did clearance. So you got to hunt down the Steve Allen Pog. I don't know if that's real. If that's just I don't know if that's a Simpson joke or if that's real. But yeah, that was some of the cool stuff I got. That was some of the cool stuff. Again, uh, Black Friday. Here's the thing too. Black Friday really didn't become a thing in Canada until maybe in the past 10 years. Like no joke. And we lost 5 of those years to the big V. So it's like the past 10 years we've only had Black Friday. Like our big thing is Boxing Day, which is after Christmas, December 26th. That's been around since the 70s or even before that. So like we've only really slowly started to adopt the Black Friday thing. And the thing is, I think a lot of stores, especially big retail, they don't really embrace it fully because their logic is, hey, the holidays are coming up. This is when people are paying full price for stuff to get those big Christmas presents for people in time for Christmas. Black Friday doesn't make sense from a Canadian sensibility, where Boxing Day, it's after Christmas. Okay, now you're not going to make those instant, guaranteed sales because Christmas is over, the due date has been met. Now you can't get those presents. Okay, let's just get rid of product before Q4 is over so that we get some good earnings. Now we'll put stuff on sale. Now all the things that people paid full price before the holidays, now we'll put it half price afterwards because we got those sales. But it's not as much a thing here in Canada. They've made it a thing in the past 10 years, but it just hasn't been the doorbuster, as they call it, the doorbuster must do thing. But shout out to Unknown Collectibles. They did 40 to 50% off a lot of stuff in their store. I mean, there was a lot of good deals. I'll be honest with you. I think I spent, when it was all said and done, I think I spent like $100 at his store. But I mean, I think I would have spent more. I think if I would have had more time, I feel bad for her because, like, no joke, I went through like 18 long boxes of comic books. So, like, maybe not 18, I would say 15, maybe 15, 14. So, just going through all the long boxes, going through the cards, like, she had her fun. She looks around too and sees stuff. There was like, Funkos that were on sale and stuff. So she was kind of like, oh, those are cute, the Funko minis, you know, but she got bored after a while, so I felt bad. So I'm like, okay, let's get going. We're not going to be here forever, but I'll be back. I'll be back. Next sale. Maybe he'll do a Boxing Day sale. I'll be back. But good stuff. Really good stuff there. I love that store. I even told like the boss when I left. I was like, I love the stuff your store has. Such good stuff. Bruticus 42. My brother took advantage when he worked at KB. Got Bots Master. Ronin Warriors. Another great toy line I collect. The only negative with Ronin Warrior figures is their horns that all the helmets have. They're made out of like a PVC plastic that dries out over time. And depending on how you store those figures, they could get really brittle and break. So sometimes when I encounter Ronin Warrior figures, I'm almost like scared to even touch the horns on them because they'll bust right off. They're supposed to be like a flexible, rubbery kind of plastic because for safety reasons, so that way the horns don't hurt people and cut them. But over time they dry out and then they become terrible. But great toy line, very fun. And the rarest figure in that one, I believe, was Kento of Hard Rock, the orange one. You can tell I'm more than just Transformers when it comes to this kind of toy knowledge. Tom Laney, just want to throw it out here. I recently met T-Formers and Cringe. Pretty nice dudes. If anything, Cringe is quite a bit hopeful. Hopefully do get together sometime. Well, they're both awesome guys. I've done many a con with them. So they're very, very cool. So that's very nice of you to say, Tom. T-Formers 2002. Yep, met Tom Sunday. Shocked by that, but great guy. Shocked to meet someone? Well, I guess sometimes too. I like it, a lot of times when people come to the cons, I'll meet somebody and then like after the show's done, they'll send me a message. Oh, it was cool meeting you. And I would have no idea that was that person because I don't know faces and screen names. Like if you're XYZ in my chat, let me know. Shake my hand. Hey, I'm so and so. Don't worry about me not knowing your name. Don't worry about that. There's nothing embarrassing about that. There's a chance I might know it. And if I don't know it, I'll remember now. I'll remember to look for it. So always go for that. Always let me know because I see your names all the time. So because I like to put faces with the names of some people. I mean, look, even last TFCon that just passed was the first time seeing some of those faces of some of the names that I see all the time in the chat. So very important to me, very important to me. I mean, Horned Owl, he makes it obvious because he wears a Horned Owl as a shirt. So, gone are the days of BotCon. The one thing I missed with BotCon, everyone's name tags, like their badges, had their screen names on them. And that was great because you would be talking to somebody and then you'd look down and you'd be like, oh, it's so-and-so from this message board or whatever. And you'd be like, oh, crap. And what was cool one year, I forget which year it was, but I remember like people were putting their little avatar, like a sticker next to it and stuff. And I was like, man, that's a good idea. And I'd forget every year to do that because I'd have to go to at the time, I'd have to go to the print shop and print it out and then bring a stick glue and, glue it on. But good stuff. Good stuff. Talpa swords is still in my stuff. You know what the problem with Talpa swords? Because how you remove it off of the sprue, because it came on a sprue. If you cut it a certain way, the swords kind of like look flat. I remember that back in the day. And he came with a whole bunch of swords. He came with like 6 or 7 of them. Didn't think of that. But yeah. Horned Owl. TFCon Chicago was the first time that I met many of you. Well, again, that's great, Horned Owl. That's fantastic. Like again, conventions are awesome. I get that they could be expensive, but they're doable. They're doable. And you get an experience that will stay with you forever. That weekend that you didn't do TFCon and you saved money and stuff, it's just going to be another day in front of the computer or in front of the couch on the TV, like on the couch looking at TV, excuse me. Got a little backwards there. But like, man, it's fun times, fun times. Can't stress it enough. And LA is going to be fun too. LA is the big one. LA is the big crazy one. That's the whole other thing. And if anyone's been paying attention with TFCon LA, it's pretty much shaping up to become a crazy Beast Wars reunion. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that one. T-Formers, Mansfield is only 40 minutes away. Must have missed a conversation. But yeah, TFCon LA is going to be hype. Very excited about that one. I don't know what my situation is going to be yet because Aaron's still figuring out what his situation is going to be. But we'll figure something out like we always do. But that's the big show of the year. That's the biggest show of the year without a doubt for Transformers. Like if we had if there's one Transformer con you do anywhere in the world this year, it's going to be TFCon LA. It's going to probably have the best dealer room. Especially last TFCon LA was amazing, the dealer room. It's going to have the best dealer room. It's going to always have the best turnout of guests. And it's going to just have the biggest turnout of fans. And because it's LA, great weather, cool places to hang out, good food. Everything's going on there. I think Tiny just came down. She's hiding. Oh, well. But yeah. So hope to see you all at TFCon LA. And a reminder to people, I kind of want to put out a public service announcement for this one. If you are going to TFCon Toronto, I want to put this out there right now. So TFCon Toronto has put up their hotel rates. Okay. I heavily suggest if you are going to TFCon Toronto or thinking about it, to get your hotel locked in now. And the reason why, especially under the hotel rate, which is on the website, the reason why I say that is we have recently discovered that there is going to be a big soccer thing going on that same weekend in Toronto. That means that hotel rooms are going to sell out that are completely separate from TFCon. And this has happened in the past where people have contacted me going, hey, Proto Man, I wanted to go to TFCon, but the hotel says they're sold out. And I'd be like, oh, crap, really? And that, it sells out maybe the week before the show. But this happened, I think, I want to say 2 months before it or something. And then I remember Colin, who runs TFCon, had to get a separate 5-minute away hotel to participate in the room rates because they didn't count on it. So if you want to be in the hotel where the con is, and have that convenience and all of that, and have the special rate and stuff, I heavily suggest you do it now because there might be a bit of a headache later. So just a heads up on that. Just a big heads up on that. No, the weather's good in LA. You have to understand, in comparison to where I come from, it's fantastic. It's good weather. Especially when you're talking LA in March is comfortable. LA in let's say July, yeah, it might get a little crazy hot, but there's never been a TFCon LA in July, or June. So it's we dodge that bullet every time. But yeah. So again, going back to TFCon Toronto, if you are going, get your hotel right now, because if it sells out and you go to the hotel and you want to get a hotel room, they might not have any rooms available, and the rooms that will be available will be the crazy expensive rooms. And I don't want anyone to have to go to TFCon and have to get I had to get the honeymoon suite for $1,000 a night just to be able to be in the hotel, as opposed to one that'll be 5 minutes away or 10 minutes away by car, which no one should have to do that. What happens if that weekend it pisses rain like crazy, and then every time you have to go to your hotel room, you have to walk in the rain? I don't wish that on anybody. So get that locked in early, Get that locked in early as soon as possible. T-Formers, I'm set for LA, just off guests alone. Got to complete my Beast Wars autograph cast. Well, got to complete what we can of who's with us still. The voice actor of Rampage passed away, and the voice actress of AirRaiser passed away, which that one hurts me because the voice actor of Rampage, we never actively pursued him as a guest. but the voice actress for Air Razor was someone that was always on a short list for us, mostly because she was also Frieza from Dragon Ball. What was her name? Oh my god, I forget her name. Oh geez, I'm blanking on me. But she was someone that was like, oh, if we bring her in, there's a lot of good cross promotion there. It's not just Air Razor. She did this, she did that, she did a whole bunch of 90s cartoons, but that one kind of sucks. That one, when she passed, it was like, ooh, we didn't even get to like have her at the show. Like we literally had like everyone else from Beast Wars that's like living, with the exception of, I think Don Brown is the only one we never got. I think Don Brown. Yeah, I think Don Brown, Scorponok, who's also Hercule from Dragon Ball, aka Mr. Satan. But I think it was Don Brown we didn't get, Campbell Lane, which is Rampage, and Air Razor's voice actress. Thank you, T-Formers. Pauline Newstone. Air Razor we didn't get. Everyone else we got. Every single character. Because think about it, like Transmutate, aka Sue Blue, we got her. She was at the show. Like even like the obscure characters, Una, the monkey girl. Again, Sue Blue, we got her. Every single Beast Wars voice actress or voice actor at some point did TFCon except those three. And Don Brown's still alive, so let's try to get Don Brown. He's the missing piece. We got Tigatron's voice actor. One moment. Now I'm not going to make this mistake. Run to the autographs. Blue Man Kuma. Blue Man. Ugh. My wall of autographs. Blue Man Kuma. We had him. Awesome dude. They were all great. All of them. Gary Chalk's coming back. David Kay's coming back. I believe David was announced. I hope I didn't spill the beans on that one. Big crew coming back. Stay tuned for that. Rudy Mack. What's up, Rudy Mack? Hey, Proto. Checking in from South America. Rudy Mack, are you going to be at the CCXP in Brazil next week? There's a huge Comic-Con level convention, and Hasbro and the whole crew are going to be there. Are you near Brazil by any chance? If not, I will send you the address if you want to go to that show, because they will be there, and tell them Proto Man sent you. Let's see. I hope Sue is in LA. She fits both 86 and Beast Wars. Totally. She was a big proponent of the success of that show because she was the voice director on it. She knew how to get Scott McNeil to sit down. Lee Tokar did, Lee Tokar did, I think, like 3 different TF cons, because Lee Tokar, the funny thing with him is a lot of times when Scott McNeil does conventions, Lee Tokar, for people that know, Lee Tokar was the voice of Ravage from Beast Wars. And Lee Tokar is Scott McNeil's best friend in real life. They're like super close. And a lot of times, if their schedules work out, Scott will do a show and Lee Tokar will be like the +1 because it's good for the con, because Scott McNeil will do the show. And then Lee Tokar will be like, oh, we'll just share a room together. So the con saves money on hotel rooms. You don't have to give them a separate room, and you get 2 for 1 usually, but that's only if their schedules work out. But Lee Tokar is a cool dude too. He's done a lot more obscure roles. I'm trying to think of something else that's big that he did. He was someone from Gargoyles, I believe. He did a few voices from Mega Man Battle Network. What else did he do that was big? I'm trying to think of a few others. But Lee Tokar, cool dude. Super fun dude. Rudy Mack, haven't got to the house where Tigatron is located. Oh, I didn't know that one. I'm in the next country over. What's the next country over? Is that Argentina? I'm bad with my geography. T-Formers 2002. I got one of Lee's poster boards at the charity auction, but want to meet him. Yeah, Lee was, again, he's been at least 3 of them, to my knowledge. And again, all because of Scotty being there. So if Scott McNeil is a guest, there's a possibility Lee Tokar will be there. There's Guyana. What's up? You're at Guyana. That's awesome. I am very familiar with Guyana. One of my old best friends back in the day. Shout out to Victor, one of my old best friends growing up. Uh, he was my neighbor, 2 houses down. Love that dude. He was the guy I went to see the '86 movie with when I was a kid. His mom is Guyanese, so that's how I'm familiar with that. His mother was Guyanese. His dad was I want to say Desi, Tamil, like some kind of Southeast Asian Indian. I don't know specifically. But yeah, Fair Lady Z. No Quick Strike yet. Quick Strike was announced actually. Quick Strike, I believe, was the last voice actor announced publicly. That one I do remember because that was yesterday, I think. That's Colin, whatever, Colin something. I met him at a BotCon way back in the day. There was a BotCon, gosh, I want to say 2002 that had almost everyone from Beast Wars outside of like a handful of people. Like it was like a Beast Wars year. Obviously, Ian Corlett wasn't doing shows at the time, so Ian was like one of the missing ones. Obviously, uh, Pauline wasn't there either. There was a few others. Colin Murdoch, thank you. He's cool too. He did a lot of '90s cartoons and stuff. So like he's another one. Like I know that I'll get here. I'll bust out my. Sometimes if people see me at shows, I'll usually have this little. This is what I protect my autographs in. So I'm looking forward to continuing completing this, the Clay Fighters autograph thing. So I got Scott. I got Frank Welker. I got Rob Paulson, and I got good old Charlie there. So hopefully some more Clay Fighter voices will be there. Maybe Michael McConaughey, who was Bad Mr. Frosty, which is tracks for us Transformer fans. I'm trying to think of a few others, but yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Just going through all my autograph. I always leave that one. I leave it inside my autograph thing. That way I never forget it. Because if I ever do a show and one of those voice actors miraculously shows up to it, I have it ready to go because I don't want to miss that opportunity. I want to get all the Clay Fighter guys together. T-Formers 2002. If Scotty is in LA, then big missed opportunity. Well, I'm not saying Scotty isn't going to be in LA, but I always say that the three easiest Beast Wars voice actors to get are Scott McNeil, David Kay, and Gary Chalk. So I'm not saying Scotty's not going to be in LA, but I'm just saying. Um, the one that I can't confirm is Lee Tokar because that's between Scotty and Lee. That's how their schedules work out. But if Lee Tokar is at a convention, it's probably because Scott McNeil is there. It's usually not the other way around. Yeah, but a very cool dude. Very very cool dude. I hope and they'll probably if he does come, they'll put them close to each other too. They'll give them one table together. But yeah, good stuff. Otherwise, how much time we got? Oh boy, we only have 20 minutes left. We have been cooking today. We have been cooking today. But yeah, guys, hope you guys had a good Black Friday at least, because mine was okay. Again, I can't say it was bad because the trading card stuff, the comic stuff was good. So I'm happy with what I got. Like, and it was actually good 40 to 50% off deals. So at least I had good stuff. It didn't come from normal retail. It came from small mom and pop shops, but it was still good. Media Max, what's up? Hey, Proto, you think they'd ever redo G1 Headmasters? I'd like some modern engineered with more solid figures than the Titan Masters we got. Those were kind of hollow and fiddly. Well, I mean, it falls into the category of, look how like they're already kind of weird with how they handle Target Masters and stuff. I would like it if they revisited it. I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like, when John Warden was in charge of the Transformers brand, he kind of did what he wanted to do. He wanted to do combiners. He got that done. He wanted to do headmasters. He got that done. He wanted to do pretenders. We kind of got that with the decoy armors. Um, I mean, and the reason I'm looking over like that because I'm just looking at my display of them. I mean, it'd be cool. I love like some of my favorite characters are Chrome Dome. I love Chrome Dome as a character, especially the Japanese version. You know, and then you could revisit Headmaster RC and maybe do her proper, like do her proper outside of that HasCon exclusive. You know that one. I mean, I'd like it. You know, and they have to do. Let's be real, Media Max. They have to do those trademarks again one day sooner or later. So probably they will revisit. But my worry is they might revisit those trademarks, but not make them headmasters, which would defeat the purpose. I mean, where is she? Where I always keep her box nearby. You know, one sec. You know, where's the true headmaster of old Minerva here? So if we get a good Night Beat, we could get a good Minerva out of it. You know, there's a few. There's a few there for sure. There's a few. But I hope so. I hope so. But your worry is they're kind of hollow and fiddly. I hate to break it to you. Probably whatever the modern one is going to be that we get today will be even more hollow and fiddly. Because if during the John Warden era, when did those come out? That had to be like what, 2016, 2015, 2016. I think those were. If they were hollow and fiddly in 2016, 10 years later, it's only going to be worse. Hate to break it to you. So I think you're almost better off waiting for a missing link, missing link Chrome Dome at this point. Probably would be better. Probably would be better bet for that. Joey's Proto, what's for dinner? We were out all day today, and we were all like that. The reason why, by the way, we didn't have a segment on Friday because we were all out all day, just like shopping around, and then we went out to eat and everything. I don't know. We didn't really plan anything for tonight. We're probably just gonna probably just gonna have like I'll throw in like a chicken breast in the oven and season it or something and have it with broccoli. Something simple that I don't have to think about. Like usually I finish the live stream, YouTube does its uploading. That's why like people always wonder like, oh, how come when the live stream ends, it goes on private temporarily? It's because YouTube has to go through it and make sure I didn't say anything racy because it's a live. So it usually takes about an hour before it gets uploaded proper or processed. So usually what I do is I walk away, make food, take a shower, do this and that. And then I come back down, make sure the upload's done, and call it quits for the rest of the night, and then have something to eat. So I'll probably throw something in the oven. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Will Murphy, Proto, have you ever been able to get the Transformer 1 Matrix after the coat of paint is gray? I've never got the Transformer 1 Matrix. The only thing that I got, shout out to Michael Koo, I was able to get the sticker set from Forever Clever. Michael Koo hooked me up with that one. And then I got an extra set also from another fan who I don't know if they want me to say their name or not. Sometimes I'm always worried. Like Michael Koo doesn't mind me saying his name 100 times, but and then I used the extra set because I wanted an extra Megatron sticker. Just the Megatronus sticker. I wanted an extra one of that to actually physically use to like put it on a book. So I got that one, but I never found the Matrix. I'd love to get it. If anyone's selling one, let me know in a nice box so I can have it displayed with the OG Matrix. I don't want to screw up the camera too much, but that one right there that glows from Art Asylum, that's a statue and it comes off. So that one's pretty cool. Now I just screwed up the camera. You spend so much time making sure the camera looks nice. Good enough. Good enough. I don't want to put too much. The problem is the lighting for the G1 display. It uses museum lighting, and museum lighting, it in person, it's soft. It looks nice. It doesn't yellow toys. That's why I use museum lighting for the G1 display. But my goodness, on a camera, it just saturates everything. Like that. That's the 84 display. You don't even see it. But then you look at the I guess we'll call it the Aaron Archer era, that's regular lights. That's like I just use like halogen lights and everything's nice. Like no, it's like you could see the alternator collection just fine. Good luck with the G1 display, you know? So that's why I always try to aim the camera away from it because it doesn't react well with it. Look, it just freaks out. Freaks out. Like if I put my head in front of it, and then of course my bald head kind of like glazes a little bit. But uh next week is going to be busy. There's also going to be a show in Pennsylvania that's going to have Frank Welker, Peter Cullen, and Shia LaBeouf. Wow, that's going to be an autograph. That's going to be a great autograph. Wow, Shia, man, I'd pay for that. That's a great one. Media Max Proto. Will we ever get that? Will you ever get that Commander Magmatron I recently bought? Incomplete. Seasaurus on eBay. The neck. Well, the thing is with the Magmatron is I do want one, but here's how my brain works. I already have the original vintage one. So I got like, if I want like a character representation of him, I have it. The vintage one's pretty good. And it's just one of those things that would I like the new one? Of course I would love to have the new one. But there's the Proto Man, do I $100 want the new one? Do I $80 want the new one? If I could get it for $50, I'll live. But that's like kind of my cutoff. And the thing is, I'm spoiled by doing conventions. You do TF cons, you do all these cons, you see these Magmatron's going to be loose on someone's table for $50. That day's going to come. I know it. I mean, ask T-Formers. T-Formers, I don't know if you ever took a nice picture of like your haul, but like T-Formers found so many deals at TFCon Chicago. Like tons of stuff. Old figures, new figures, loose complete. If you're a loose complete guy like me, because look, I'm going to open it anyways. It's not staying in the box. So like I don't mind buying loose complete. That box is going in the recycling bin in general anyway. Unless it's like a character I actually care about where I might keep the box, 90% of these boxes end up in the recycling bin. They really do. So Steel City Con. That's why. That has a lot of people for autographs. Cheers Ian, who's someone that I used to do the podcast with many years ago, used to go to it all the time. Now he doesn't anymore. Family got in the way, but it is what it is. Man. But that's cool though. That's cool meeting Shia. That'll be awesome. Because he's someone who's, he's a little bit of an interesting cat, Shia LaBeouf now. So he's one of those guys that I'm surprised that he's even doing conventions. He's one of those guys that I would imagine like would just kind of disappear, fall off the face of the earth. You know what I mean? So the fact, get that autograph, man, because you never know. You never know. Although he might be coming back to the movies and doing all that stuff again. So who knows? T-Formers 2002 Proto. Speaking of autographs, you may have noticed a couple of Aaron's recent art commissions being moved related to a certain. Oh, really? Really? Well, then that starts to make sense now. Aaron's been doing a lot of commissions. If you follow Aaron's Instagram, which Aaron keeps changing the name. Aaron, what is your Instagram? Is it official Aaron Archer, or is it still Archer Monster? I don't know. I don't remember because you changed it. But check. It's okay. I follow him anyway. So just go to mine and then go to the people that I follow, and you'll see Aaron's Instagram on there. If I'm incorrect. So, but yeah, just go to mine then, and then just go to the following section. I don't follow many people, so you don't have to scroll. You don't have to scroll through many people. But that's great, man. Getting Shia's autograph, like I'm big on just getting I'm not big on the selfie photo. Like I don't care about that really. Like taking a photo with the actor. But like I'm big on just getting like autographs and just collecting them all. So that's cool. That's really cool. Like, no joke. I don't have it printed out. It's upstairs. I can't wait to meet Gary Chalk again. I've met Gary already like 15 times. So it's nothing new, but I have a special autograph I want to get from him now where it's like years later, I was just going down the rabbit hole of, let me just pull out his action figure, Larry Bird, appearances in cartoons and stuff. And yes, Larry Bird has been in cartoons. And Larry Bird was in Captain N, the Game Masters, because Larry Bird was in a Nintendo game called Jordan versus Bird. Obviously, Michael Jordan wasn't going to be in the show because he was on a different Deke cartoon called Pro Stars at the time with Bo Jackson and Wayne Gretzky. So they got Larry Bird for the Captain N cartoon instead. And Larry Bird was voiced by Gary Chalk. So I'm like, damn, now I'm going to make an 8x10 with all the Larry Bird cartoon appearances and get Gary Chalk to sign it because that's cool. Because I have Larry Bird's autograph. I met Larry Bird many years ago. So now I want to get cartoon Larry Bird. That'd be awesome. So that'd be really cool. It's kind of it's the same thing. Like cartoon Michael Jordan was voiced by I forget who voiced him, but it's all like it's all the Deke crew, which is also kind of the Ocean crew. So it's funny when you have like actors that actually like as celebrities that are voiced by voice actors, so you can kind of get them. So that's gonna be, and I love that because that's when it gets weird. Like whenever I do the Clay Fighter one, you always go up to those guys, and it's like Frank Welker is a good example, right? So that whole weekend, Frank is signing Megatron, Frank is signing Galvatron, Frank is signing this, and then I go up and I'm like, "Hey Frank, you were Blob from an Ichabod Clay from Clay Fighters," and he's like, "Oh my God, I don't even remember that," like so it's kind of cool, like to show them the weird stuff. So, and I know it for a fact, Gary's probably not even going to remember it. It's fine, but it's just his Larry Bird is a softer Optimus Primal. That's probably the best way to explain it. That's all it is. It's just a softer Optimus Primal. And Larry Bird's just the hick from French Lick, as they call it. He's just a good old boy. So it doesn't really sound like him, but it's still cool. I dig it. I love it. Draco Rex with the $2 super chat because Protoman's talking about basketball too much. I apologize. Uh, he didn't say that. I said that. New Generations Cup when? I don't know. Like, here's the thing, though, Draco. The Buzzworthy Bumblebee repaint that we got of the Studio Series, pretty darn good, if you ask me. So what would you really want to see beyond that, unless we're talking a different cup, like a IDW cup or something, which is still pretty G1 looking, still pretty G1 looking. So I don't know. I'm looking at them now. I'm like, what would you know, what would you improve on? I mean, it has that part forming thing too. That's pretty cool that they did that. Fix me. You know, like what would you do? What would you do that would be different, Draco? That's what I'm kind of curious because there's not that many other versions of Cup. I mean, you could do like what animated Cup for his non-appearances. Like there's not many versions of Cup, unfortunately, that we could pull from. Oh, maybe Cup from Cyberverse. He was cool, but again, he's very G1 looking. Cyberverse Cup was awesome. Liked him. Fair Lady Z got to meet Judd Nelson. Damn right. I got to meet Judd, thanks to, and I'll always thank him for it. Pete Sinclair from BotCon. He literally contacted me before BotCon. They announced Judd Nelson, and Pete contacted me before they announced him and said, "We're going to be announcing Judd Nelson as a guest. We're going to be offering a special package. Don't buy it. It's on me." And I will always respect Pete Sinclair for that. The fact that he let me know in advance and told me, "Don't buy the package. You're the only person that should get it for free." And that was so cool of him. And the package, like you got like a special hot rod pin. You got like, a photo taken, which by the way, was a photo that they took and then printed out for you. So that was really cool of them to do that. Like all the respect to Pete Sinclair. People always talk shit about Pete. I don't appreciate that because deep down, Pete has his flaws. I get it, but he's a really good guy at his core. And I really respect that about him, that he did that, because that would have cost me like, I don't know what that package was. I think it was like $120, but that's American. As a poor Canadian, that goes a long way, So T-Formers 2002, met Judd back in April. Great dude. Yeah, he was cool. He was cool, and it was hilarious because when I met him, the handler for him, which was like just a BotCon staff dude, was like, "Oh, this guy right here," and I'm like, "Oh no, please don't make this an embarrassing moment," because they make it sound like I'm so obsessed with Hot Rod that if I meet Judd Nelson, I'm gonna be weird. They're all humans at the end of the day. The only time in my life I ever fanboyed ever on anyone and was nervous, and it was so stupid because when I look back now, it's like people that I really look up to, like really, really look up to. When I met them, I didn't like freak out. But when I met Jim Starlin, who created Thanos, for some reason I was like nervous that day. I don't know why. It was so weird. But like I met Bret Hart twice, and it was chill. And I love Bret Hart. He's my hero. I met Ken Dryden twice. I love Ken Dryden. Never was nervous, had a great time. I met Todd McFarlane. I met, Stan Lee, so many dudes, but Jim Starlin, I don't know what happened that day. I don't know. Maybe I was jacked up on caffeine or something. I don't know. Mikey and Louie, Proto always gets the best package, giggity. Well, I don't know about that. But yeah, again, shout out to Pete Sinclair. Thanks, man. Like that was really cool of you to do that. Because again, the old fandom, going all the way back to 1995, the old Transformer fandom online. Proto Man was the Hot Rod guy. Today, now everyone is a fan of Hot Rod. People love him because of the IDW comics, or they love him because of other stuff. But back in the day, there was a lot of Hot Rod haters. Like people, Hot Rod, Cheetor, and Wheelie were like the three hated characters of Beast War. Like when Beast Wars going into Beast Machines, like those are like the three hated dudes. And there wasn't a lot of Hot Rod fans. Like Fair Lady Z was one that I met at a TF con. What year was that, Fair Lady? That was 2012, maybe earlier. I know it was a double tree year. It had to be earlier than 2012, maybe 2010, 2011, 2009, maybe. Either way, but like we were few and far between. And it was always known in the fandom that I was the Hot Rod guy, not to mention because the crazy Hot Rod shrine and the displays and everything, and being made into Hot Rod via animated and stuff because of Derek Wyatt. So it's something where people always associated me with that. So for Pete to like acknowledge that, because Pete was part of the old fandom, that was cool. Media Max, love you, Proto. Love the podcast. Keep what you're doing. We all simp for you. Well, don't simp for me. Don't simp for me. Just enjoy what I do. Enjoy what I do. My goal of this podcast has always been educating people about the industry, educating people about, how this hobby works and the financial side of it and how to take care of yourself financially because of how this hobby works. It's something where there's places you could spend your money. There's places you could wait because of just, it all works in synergy, knowing how stuff like looking at going back to the Tron thing. We'll just kick it one last time while it's down, looking at what's going on with the Tron thing and going like, no, don't give money to that. That is knowing how the toy industry works and don't even involve yourself with that. And I, again, love me some Tron, but no. But again, thanks for all the love and support. I always say, like, if you want to support the podcast, join the Patreon just so you could be part of the Discord and have your name in the end credits and get, exclusive merch when we make them. Like anyone who came to TFCon that got the gold bug, shout out to you guys that got him. That was like a Patreon exclusive for anyone that came to the show. So like, joining the Patreon, that's how the best way to support me. That always helps the podcast on so many levels. And of course, watching the segments, the algorithm, you have to always fight against the algorithm. YouTube is always switching and changing things throughout the years. So it is what it is. You said it the best, T-Former. So that Blanker was the original Wheelie hater. Point blank in the Headmasters anime, 1987. Japan, the very first wheelie hater was Point Blank, and that's a fact in fiction. And I love Point Blank, not because of the wheelie hate. He's just a cool design, a cool character. I love Point Blank. If you actually go on the TF Wiki, one of the first person to edit Point Blank's, uh, I guess you could call it his bio page, was me, because I was like, oh, I'm going to do this one justice. The Double Dip Club, yeah, man. Double Dip Club is if you get your screen name and those. Actually, YouTube next year, so in January, I'm going to be able to add more more icons for you guys for your names next to them. So like, have people that have RC or whatever. I'm going to be able to add, I think, 5 new ones next year because every year they let me add more of them. So I'm going to be adding a bunch more. So stay tuned for that. I never added an Optimus Prime one, so I know that's going to be on there. What I'm going to probably do, I'm going to probably open it up to a vote. I'll do like a vote that only the YouTube members could see, and I'll ask what icons would you like to see added as like I think it's 5 new ones. I have to double check that, so don't quote me on it. But so I'm going to add a whole bunch of new ones because I at the time I was just like, oh, we'll do RC in case we have a female fan that wants to have a female character as their thing. I'm going to put Jetfire because I want to have a cool, Macross Diaclone miscellanea robot kind of thing. Obviously, Hot Rod's there. I wanted to put the Matrix. I put some of my favorite. It was all just like off the whim. So, and then I was going to put like, maybe I'll put Cliff Jumper because I love my mini bots. I never did a Brawn one. I probably should do a Brawn one too. And all those icons, those were all done by a guy named Taco Salad back in the day. No joke. That was his screen name. He ran a website that made original Transformer icons. So he made a whole bunch of them, and I have his whole collection. And Taco Salad kind of isn't in the fandom anymore. He kind of just, he was hardcore into Beast Wars, kind of didn't like Beast Machines, and then kind of got into Pokemon and disappeared. I still talk to him once in a while, but he made a whole bunch of icons, and so his work lives on through the podcast. Yep. Mikey and Louie. Well, obviously, I want Beastie Silverbolt. I think he did a Silverbolt. I think he did. I know that he did Rhinox, Cheetor, Primal. I know he did the season 1 designs. I don't know if he did season 2. I'll have to double check, but I have his whole archive. I have his whole archive. I think the closest Silverbolt will have to be G1, but that's not the same. His name is an icon. Yeah, Taco Salad. He was a cool dude. That was the early days of the fandom. I love the old fandom. The old fandom was great because we were all just a bunch of dumb kids. We didn't know any better, Like, you have to understand, like 1995, this will show you how old I am. 1995, I was just turning 14. So, or turning 15. Was it 15 or 14? Either way. So I was just turning like 14, 15. And like, I was lucky just to have the internet back then. And just all of us were just dumb teenagers who loved G1 and were loving Beast Wars and just doing our thing. K-Neck, I guess, if I'm pronouncing that right. Have a chance to get the Vector Prime on sale. Do you think they might give him extra price, an extra piece for the 13 primes? So according to Evan, he said that Vector Prime is going to get a reissue, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 reissue at some point just to fill in the 13 primes again. So I don't think they're going to be doing a new one anytime soon, unfortunately. That's what Evan said. I don't remember where he said that, but I do remember that conversation. Because I think someone asked him that question, and then he just kind of addressed it saying, no, they'll just reissue it. Maybe it'll have new paint deco, but they're just going to reissue it. And I mean, it's a pretty good toy. I mean, it's not as good as the original, and it's not even a bias because Aaron Archer did the original. I think the original Vector Prime toy is, man, that's like a top 20 Transformer toy. Like, that thing looks amazing. But then again, a lot of Galaxy Force and Cybertron toys are amazing. So, but yeah. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Mikey Louie, nothing like waiting hours on MIRC downloading the newest Beasties episode. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We were lucky because here in Canada, for some reason, YTV always played them like first, and then like Fox Kids would get it like 2 days later or something. Because they would play it. We would play it on Wednesdays, and they would play it on Saturday mornings, if I remember correctly. Because I remember we would catch it because we would get both channels, obviously here in Canada, because we would have Fox affiliates. We would watch it on Wednesday, new episode Wednesday for Beast Wars, Beasties as it was called in Canada. And then we'd be like, oh man, that episode was amazing. And this is before the days of digital and YouTube and DVDs. Oh man, I want to watch that episode again. And then you'd wake up early, 7 a.m. Saturday, Fox Kids, new Beast Wars episodes. Amazing. And then you'd watch the Fox Kids countdown. Nostalgia, the 90s. Even though I'm an 80s kid, I love the 90s. Because I was a teenager in the 90s, so it was still fun. Joey's with the $5 super chat. I guess super chats are coming in because we're almost done today. Proto, do you know if they're planning to do a repaint of Onyx Prime into a blue gold color? That's still too early. Onyx Prime is still a brand new mold. I mean, who knows? We might even get a crazy retool out of it and like partial. I mean, I hope. Again, this is a bit spoilery. I hope that they lean a little bit into while I don't agree with the IDW origin with Shockwave, for the IDW fans, I hope they kind of do something with that. Include like a different variant or whatever. But who knows? Who knows? The blue and gold one would be cool too. Would be cool too, also. Again, going into the IDW. But we'll see how that goes down. Still too early. Usually we don't see like a partial or a redeco until a mold is at least a year old. So it's going to take a bit. That mold is still like, some people still haven't even seen it in stores yet. So still taking its time. I haven't even seen it yet. I'd love to pick one up. Like that's the one of the original 13 that I might be willing to pay full price for. That's how nice it is. Joseph, what's up, Joseph? $5 super chat. When will we get a complete reset like we did with Siege? Ever play Warhammer? So to answer the first question, I think that that's going to be coming sooner more than later. Siege came from the John Warden era, and every time, look, they don't say it directly, but they always say it indirectly. Evan and Mark want to do their own spin on things. They want to all the time. And I'm sure that they look at the John Warden era of Siege and that Cybertronian designs, and they want to do their own versions. And I'm sure, like, in a lot of ways, look, the Origins line, Bumblebee, Jazz, all of those, that was them, Mark and Evan, and the Takara team doing their own spin on it. That's outside of the John Warden era. So I'm sure at some point a lot of those will happen. Look, we got Evan and Mark kept their promise. They were like, we're going to redo Soundwave one day because they did the blaster. The blaster was them, and they felt that blaster didn't work well. So they redid the Soundwave. They kept their promise. So I'm sure that they'll do the others at some point, at some point in the future. I would like, in all honesty, just to like add to that, I'd like to see them tackle some of the female Autobots. Like, we had a lot of the Siege female Autobots, but they just weren't like screen accurate. Like the robot mode heads were there, but everything else wasn't. Like, I'd like to see a really screen accurate Firestar or a really screen accurate like Chromia. Like, I'd love to like have some of those done. Those were really cool to like be done. But I mean, there's even some of the others. Do Soundwave proper. And then they could call it something else. Like, they don't have to call it like Siege 2.0, but they could call it Origin or whatever. They already have that like kind of thing. But yeah. And then the second part of your question, ever play Warhammer? So I have a lot of friends that are really big into Warhammer. And not just Warhammer 40K, like the more medieval Warhammer too, which was Warhammer's Origin. They tried to get me into it. I have some of the medieval Warhammer stuff. I don't have the 40K stuff. I'm open into learning how to play it, But I will say this, I am going to have to borrow someone's army because if I have to go down that rabbit hole with the way I am, I'm worried that I'm going to just drop tons of money that I don't have. So it's something where I'm interested to learn and play it more again. Last time I played it, I played the medieval version. I forget what they call it, but it was like because there's 40K, which is the Space Marines and everything, and the what's it called there, God of Mankind, whatever he's called, Ruler of Mankind, Emperor of Mankind. So like they were playing that one, but I played the old school one with the mat, and they had everything, the modular environments. I mean, I have literally upstairs in the other room my little army dudes of that. But I was in college. I had a little bit of disposable income, no responsibilities, no mortgage, no family, no this, a girlfriend. That's about it. That was the most expensive thing in my life was a girlfriend and Transformer toys that were affordable. Oh, wow. The Energon Wave just came out. I could buy every figure from the entire wave from basic to deluxe to mega to ultra to the odd supreme that they would do and the odd leader that they would do. I'd be able to afford it because the prices were good. Today, oof, the last thing I need is Warhammer in my life spending money. I'd buy like one or two Warhammer figures. I'd like that. A friend of mine gifted me a 6-inch Warhammer figure because it had Proto Man colors. It had like the gold and red. I don't know who the character is. It's a gold and red Space Marine. That's all it is. He gifted it to me a while back. I think it was from McFarlane Toys. And he was just like, "Oh, I figure you'd like this because this is one of my friends that you've probably seen me talk about him in the past. Like he buys and sells toys, and he always finds Transformers. So then he goes, "Hey, do you want these?" So he gifted me that. He's not even a Warhammer fan. He was just like, "Oh, it's Proto Man colored. You'd like it." And it's like a big jacked up Robo dude, you know? But yeah, like Warhammer, it's scary to me because I go to Magic the Gathering events and I see the Warhammer guys in their own separate room and that stuff looks cool, but it looks pricey. I'd like to learn how to play it, borrow someone's army and play it while borrowing someone's army. And then maybe I'll buy one or two little Warhammer figures just to have them, like, and paint them up really nice and make them look cool if I have a favorite character or something. And that's it. But I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. And I have just enough sanity and self control to be able to pull that off. I'm not one of those guys, oh, I'll buy one. Maybe I'll buy him two. But then he needs a friend. But then maybe I should buy three. I have enough self control to control that. So I'm willing to I'll wait for someone else to like lend me something. But I have to learn how to play it first because I haven't played it in forever. And the one I played was the old school one. Is it 401k? I don't remember the name. I apologize. I know I'm butchering it, guys. I don't know I know some of the lore a little bit, only a little bit because someone tried to school me about it and I only heard half of what he said. Again, like Emperor of Mankind, apparently there was what was it called there where a dude betrayed him and then he's on the golden throne and he's surviving again and everyone's probably going like, "Oh, what is Proto Man talking about?" But either way, I apologize. It looks cool. It's toys and it's tabletop. It's stuff I like, you know? See, Ashton, I spent a few thousands over the years with 40. Oh my God. See, that's what scares me. I spent over thousands on Magic the Gathering. I'll just stick to my lane. I'll stick to my cardboard lane of trading cards. Uh, you blow your 401k. Ah, that's the joke. But yeah, where's that figure? It's a really cool figure. It's like a McFarlane 6-inch one. He had a gold helmet, he had like gold on him, and then he was all red. So it was very like Proto Man, Hot Rod, Charizard Namble, red and yellows, kind of color scheme. Very cool. Joseph with another $5 super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Joseph. Operation Infecting Proto at 40K. So it's 40K. That's what it's called. So not 401K. 40K and changing the podcast name. Oh my God, no. I'm sure there's probably very talented people that do very talented stuff about it. I always see I remember when I first started playing the medieval one. What is it called? So I know, so I'm not misnaming it every time, whatever the medieval version of it is, which was the original Warhammer. When I was playing the medieval one, there were so many lore books that were at the store. Shout out to what was it called? Valet de Coeur, which was it was a French game store. So Valet de Coeur, so like the Valley of the Heart, right? They had a great store. I haven't been there in like forever because it's in downtown Montreal. I just haven't been there in a long time. And man, their store was crazy. Like there was just Warhammer everywhere. But and I bought like my first couple dudes, little blue paladins and stuff and fun little things. Warhammer Fantasy. Is that the official name for it? Okay. Okay, Warhammer Fantasy. So that's what it's called. That's what it's called. Start a 40K podcast with Henry Cavill. Well, you know what? If I was doing a podcast with Henry Cavill, my wife would freak out. She loves him. So she'd all of a sudden be into 40K magically out of nowhere. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. It's like, oh, Sandy, when did you all of a sudden care about 40K? Oh, I've always loved the Emperor of Mankind. The cats are playing around. Hey, Butters. He's knocked out, man. He's knocked out, and she's playing with her little catnip thingy. Oh, we are over. We are way over. Blame Joseph for making us talk about 40K for an extra 15 minutes. Anyways, guys, thank you for all the love and support as always. I hope you guys had a good evening just hanging out and talking. That's what we do here. Hope you guys had a great Black Friday. I hope you guys found crazy cool stuff. I mean, again, I found this and that. Shout out to Unknown Collectibles. You guys are awesome. Found a bunch of good stuff there at least. And yeah, shout out to the sponsors, Symbiote Studio, plush pins and t-shirts, bam. And bam on the back. Show the full back. Go. Shout out to Aaron Archer. Go check out his stuff, archermonster.com/shop. Check them all out, yo. Support them. Supporting them supports me in a way, even though I don't get money from their sales, but supports them, supports me. But, helps them out and everything. That's always good. And go check out Hasbro Pulse with their YouTube channel. Same thing. Support them. Doesn't directly support me, but they support me in indirect ways. So they're good people too when they're not doing a HasLab. Check out the latest episode of Cyber World. Good stuff there. And again, if you want to support me directly, check out the Patreon. Patreon's the best way to support the podcast. Come check us out. Go hang out in the Discord. We'll post the latest episode of Wild King when that comes out in early December, which will be a Patreon exclusive because it is locked out from the rest of the Western world. So check that out too. We're going to have a whole bunch of other cool stuff in the near future, of course, going into March with TFCon LA. We'll have a nice exclusive for all our patrons. We'll check that out. But thanks for all the love and support. Take care of yourself, your friends, your family, and your loved ones. The world is an awesome place with a whole bunch of cool stuff like Warhammer, apparently. God, if I get into Warhammer. But it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. There's a lot of cool stuff, whether it be, Final Faction or rescue bots or super fighting robots from 2001 XX or Chinese model kits or I need to grab something else that isn't Transformers, but I'm in the Transformer room. Or basketball. Because Larry Bird. The world's an amazing place and a lot of cool stuff in it. Take care of yourself. I'm out of here. Thanks for all the love and support. And as always, roll out.